York City is planning to open emergency shelters to house the more than 13,000 migrants who have arrived in the city since April. Many are arriving on buses sent by Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott. In Florida, a state senator is now suing to block Governor Ron DeSantis from putting more migrants on flights to and from other states that have nothing to do with Florida. State Senator Jason Pizzo argues that last week's flights from Texas to Martha's Vineyard violate Florida law. And he claims DeSantis illegally misspent taxpayer dollars. That state senator, Jason Pizzo, joins us now. Senator, thanks so much for being here. So you think that Governor DeSantis does not have the authority to spend $1.5 million taxpayer dollars from Floridians to deal with migrants in two other states, Texas and Massachusetts. But Governor DeSantis says that he does, and he basically says that you and your fellow lawmakers in Florida gave him that authority. So here's what he says.
The legislature gave me $12 million. We're going to spend every penny of that to make sure that we're protecting the people of the state of Florida.
Okay, so why is that wrong?
The legislature gave him $12 million in the general appropriations budget of $109 billion this year, with a few requirements that are pretty easy to understand. The first is it has to be an unauthorized alien. That's a requirement. The second requirement is they have to be from this state, the state obviously being Florida. And when you're paying for hotel rooms and meals and haircuts and $12,000 per person to fly them with 2 pit stops on the way to Martha's Vineyard, you're spending Floridians' dollars in contravention of the law.
So what's the status of your lawsuit? How long will this take to resolve?
We filed it last night. We heard back from the judge about scheduling a case management conference to try to expedite the proceedings. And it's not a typical lawsuit. It's for injunctive relief. Within the 4 quarters of a very simple to understand law that was passed just this session by his own party, he's just not playing by the rules that he set. And so we expect in this coming week, we were hoping for today, but in this coming week, just to stop the bleeding and the hemorrhaging of dollars going outside the state of Florida.
The 50 migrants that Governor DeSantis flew from Texas to Martha's Vineyard were from Venezuela. And they say that they were fleeing Nicolas Maduro, who they consider a dictator. I don't have to tell you that South Florida, has the nation's largest Venezuelan population. Do you know how they're feeling about all of this?
Sure. Many of my 550,000 constituents are Venezuelan born. And I personally know a number of people who have successfully received asylum, that if they were to return, they have a credible fear of being persecuted. And so this is the ultimate sort of hypocrisy. You know, Governor DeSantis and I sort of track ancestral history the same. You know, our families came over around the same time. And to see in South Florida especially, Republican, especially Hispanic Republicans, forgetting where the last generation or 2 generations and how they got here and under what circumstances is hypocritical and shameful, to say the least.
CNN and NBC are reporting that there's a financial link between that airline charter company that made that flight and DeSantis's state, basically immigration czar, the person that he chose to help fight, he says, illegal immigration. So that somehow that man, Lawrence Keefe, had worked for the airline company. Is that a problem?
You know, they got Capone on taxes, not on crime. Let me just be very, very clear. Our injunction is very, very narrowly tailored. A law was passed, 2 actually, this past session, just a few months ago, signed into law by this governor, and he can't comply with that. I am simply narrowly, I mean, there's a bunch of emotion and passion as right there should be, and I'm sure we're going to find out about nefarious clandestine connections, but very simply, he cannot spend these dollars outside of Florida on unauthorized aliens or aliens at all outside of Florida. I think we're going to see a lot that's going to come out of this. I think there's probably going to be a continuing pattern of stereotypical cronyism, absolutely. But the singular purpose for my injunction relief is simply to stop the hemorrhaging of dollars.
Very quickly, we just listened to Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy talking about the fentanyl crisis and how many Americans are being killed by fentanyl, and that fentanyl is coming, he says, over the southern border. And so in that way, does Governor DeSantis have a point that, yes, Florida wasn't involved in any of this between Texas and Martha's Vineyard, but that fentanyl affects every state and that every state has to do something about what's happening at the border?
Rather uniquely, even though I'm a Democrat, an overwhelming majority legislature, bicamerally overwhelming majority is Republican. I'm the chair of the Criminal Justice Committee in the Florida Senate. I agended the bill as it relates to increased penalties for opioid abuse, including the death penalty, and I voted for the bill. I'm a law enforcement guy. I'm law and order. Absolutely, I believe that's a problem. And if the governor had proposed to this legislature, can we use some Florida dollars to go over to the border to help interdictions on drug possessions and drug seizures, I'm all for it. I might even personally chip in. That's not where we are.
Florida State Senator Jason Pizzo, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.